Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Healthcare Innovation Podcast by HealthArt. Today, we have Rahul Rastogi as our guest. He's the founder and CEO of Agatsa. The company is a medtech company driven by AI. Rahul has a decade of experience, and he, right now leads a team of 50 under his umbrella, and he has worked at large electronic companies like Samsung, LG in the past, and he's a BTech graduate from Aligarh Muslim University. So let's hear more from Rahul. How has his entrepreneurial journey been, and how has he founded Agatsa? Over to you, Rahul.
So thank you, Shivang, for the warm introduction, and happy to be here. Uh, so how it all began? It was like an incident at home, which prompted us to look for a device which can do medical grade ECG by a non-doctor, and so there was no device which actually could do a 12-lead ECG from a home by a non-doctors without clumsy leads, So it it was more of a engineering. A, it was more of a search which was driven by engineering passion. So that we being an engineer, we thought we can actually try and look into this problem and find a solution to it. Because what happens is that and now we are seeing cases everywhere where very young people are falling prey to heart attacks and all,
Yes.
and generally it doesn't happens over the night. Like, it's something that we have some weak heart or blocked arteries or different reasons, but the monitoring of heart is very difficult because you have to still go to a hospital and do an ECG, a full setup, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours. So, so that is why this problem of heart, it always goes unnoticed until and unless this some problem happens. So that's why it says that heart attack is generally the first symptom of a heart disease, unfortunately. And to break this whole chain, we thought, we being an engineer, we should actually get into it and find some solution, and which we did basically. And it took us about four years to just to do research and prototyping, and then arrive at a product which is very small, like a car keychain product, and uh, it can do full medical grade 12-lead ECG by anybody actually, and anywhere. So you can do it in a sitting in a car, airplane, office, gym, even on a roadside. So, and then that ECG report is formed, which anybody can actually share it to his doctor, or they can share it with us, and we'll get it consulted. So this whole affair of 2 to 3 hours get reduced in 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, and so this was the whole thought process of our starting this whole very exciting journey, and it began in 2014 actually.
So from 2014 to right now, it's a almost half a decade of more than half a decade, and it must be covered with many ups and downs. Do you want to share some parts and highlights of how those 7 years, 7 8 years have been?
Yeah, uh, so when it was a research phase, the challenges were different. When the product was developed and we were trying it to take it to doctors and masses, and the challenges were different. Now that it has been adapted in certain communities, now the challenges are different. So initial challenge was that because nobody has developed it, so there is no reference for us to look into. And the very thought of actually doing this thing, which uh, so basically ECG is there since 90 years. So you're breaking this whole myth, you can say. You can breaking this whole ecosystem of 90 years with an innovation. So that must be really difficult. So that's why we took about 4 years to research, fail again, research again, fail and again research, and then arrive at a solution which was medically acceptable. So those were the challenges of at that time when we were developing this thing. And then when you are developing, you have to really keep it very affordable. Otherwise, you can't actually expect anybody to buy 1 lakh machine just to test heart at home. Uh, we have we have done it in, I think, $25 or 2,500 rupees is what is the MRP of the first device that we do. So making an ECG machine in 2,500 rupees, if somebody would have asked me to do it at that time, I would have actually laughed. It's not possible. But subsequently, we got better at research, we got better at engineering, and because we also manufacture our stuff, so we got better at various things, and the result was a 2,500 rupees ECG machine. And then when we were selling it to doctors, then it was a huge challenge that because nobody has seen this thing ever. So it was very hard for them to believe that it is actually working. It is not a gimmick. It's not a toy. It is actually medically equivalent. So we had to do a lot of clinical trials at various hospitals, and when results came out 99% accurate, then it was again a job to publish that data into medical journals. Then finally, Lancet also published American Association, Heart Association. They also published about us. India, not many hospitals. So that challenge was solved, and it was definitely like a slow journey because doctors were adapting it, using us, giving us feedback. We were kind of listening to them. So things evolved over years. Now we have a lot of doctors who are using it day in and day out. Now when now we are at a growth stage. So now our challenge is more into AI, more into blockchain, more into providing a solution to our users, which are doctors and non-doctors both, not just a device, because device is done, it's accurate. Now, in terms of solution, can it be predictive? Can the AI, we have AI algorithms. Can our AI algorithms be predictive? Uh, what all they can do basically. Now is a challenge to provide our users with more and uh, uh, more things or data that that are really important. So that is now the next challenge that we are facing.
And right now, what has the reception been in the market? What is the feedback that you're getting for the product, and how you're taking it?
No, we have seen a time initially when we first launched it on Amazon. So at that time, there used to be one sale in 1 week or 2 weeks. So we started with that phase. Then we have seen a time that the pre-order bookings were at least 2-3 thousand. So though we were doing our best capable manufacturing, but the order volume was very high, and almost 2,000 to 3,000 devices were always in pipeline stage. So now we kind of balanced everything, we increased our manufacturing and all. So reception has been really good, and reception has been really good from both the academia, I mean the doctors, and the non-doctors who didn't knew anything about ECG. Now they are able to do it not only for themselves but for their family members, or if they see someone in distress, they're able to do it. So reception has been tremendously good, and that is why we are getting motivated into providing them with more AI-driven solutions. Right, things become more useful to them.
And can we rewind a little bit, before you decided to pursue this? What was the motivation behind starting this? Because uh, as you said, there was a lot of research that went into it, multiple failures. So what kept you going, in that phase? And, what was your core motivation to start this up?
No, so I was in I think Samsung at that time, and so everything was good and fine. But there was a family problem. My father was detected with a angina pain. He there was then find out that 80% arteries were blocked, and he was kept on medicines. Stents were not placed. Only angiography had happened, angioplasty, and he was diabetic and all. So doctors were really very. I mean, they were telling us that okay, we are discharging him, but if there is a chest pain, then ECG has to be done. And now everybody lives in nuclear family, so uh, it is very difficult for any elderly patient to go and get an ECG when something is happening already. There is a chest pain and all. It's nearly impossible. And so that's why we needed some device that he can actually keep it like a blood pressure monitor with himself, and then take an ECG whenever required and send that data, that ECG to us. But unfortunately, there was no such device. There were devices, Chinese devices, other devices which are doing just one lead ECG, which is like 1 by 12 or 8% of information. Even the smartwatches nowadays, they also give ECG, that is just single lead. So that is also 8% information. Just 92% we don't know. So it's actually very tricky situation that in just that 8% information, if you think that okay, 92% is also okay, in ECG it doesn't happen. In ECG, any inside lead can have problem. So it is very, very mandatory to do a 12 lead ECG with 12 graphs. And there was no device or anything like that. So that's why we started researching on it, and gradually we came to know that it's not just with us, it's like with everybody. I mean, a lot of people, they need such kind of device. So we thought, let's put some years of our life into this research and go forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting to know, that uh, that has been the motivation of your continuous pursuit. And how is it different right now? I know that it is a small keychain like device, but how is it different from the normal ECG, and how
So this particular device, it's basically you just have to touch it on various points in the body. There are no leads involved, and there is a companion mobile app which will guide you on all the steps, and we also train our users. So conventional ECG machine, it's like it requires a lot of leads. Then you have to then the consumable expenses where you have to actually put glue or the sensors, lie down. So it's not possible for a single person to do his ECG.
right?
And with us, because it's a car keychain size device, so it's I mean, in just 1 minute, anybody can just finish off his ECG. You don't have to actually take off all your clothes also. So it's that easy basically. So it's that user friendly, I'll say. And once that ECG is generated, then the apps and algorithms will do all the magic and present you with the graph, tell you what is the problem. So, unlike in that machine where you get a paper report and then you go to a cardiologist and then seek his opinion, here once that report is formed, report will automatically tell you a lot of things. And with a click of a button, you can actually send it to either your cardiologist or our cardiologist. And we have a chat of around 10 minutes for a cardiologist to review and get back. So, it's so convenient. Like you're sitting here, we are talking. I can do an ECG right now in a minute, and just like I order my food online, I'll just click a button and then order the review online. And within 10 minutes, that review and report will tell me if I'm having some problem or not, and then I can decide accordingly. So this is completely, path breaking thing, game changer kind of thing.
Yeah, so not only revolutionizing the device per se, but also the entire workflow, right?
Well,
From an entire test to getting the results back
right,
to
right,
you, and then the diagnosis part as well. Yeah,
right.
that's so with this great device, what are your next plans or future expansion plans?
So yeah, now we have devices, like we have a lot of devices. One was the initial device. Then we have a hybrid device where if somebody is very old or unconscious, then you can just put the leads also in the device. And again, it's car keychain size device. You get leads, just put it the leads. So it becomes a hybrid version. Then we have multi-parameter devices. So we have two ranges of multi-parameter devices where a single device can do about 8 tests, including ECG, and with or without leads. So now we are kind of moving towards more holistic place where we are kind of targeting a lot of different parameters. So one parameter is touch-based blood pressure. We have done a lot of clinical trials on our technology of touch-based, and it's almost 94% accurate compared with the standard blood pressure monitor, and just touch base, just keep your finger and that's it. So on one end we are doing multi-parameter, and we are also moving out into variables. So we have patches basically that we are kind of working on patches. Uh, we also announced in partnership with few stakeholders smartwatch, which is called Bharat Watch. It's the first watch which has been conceptually designed, developed, researched, manufactured in India. So the manufacturing will start next week of that watch. That watch carries our proprietary algorithms, health algorithms, because all the watches in India, they are almost 99% imported from China.
Hmm.
They claim so many health parameters, but none of them actually, unfortunately, is accurate or even near to accurate. So, because we are kind of pioneer into health tech, so we are kind of putting that into smartwatch, and for that we are kind of working as an OEM basically, and we are talking with the leading smartwatches players in India to help them manufacture their watches and help them make it more accurate in terms of medical parameters.
Yeah, Rahul. So also, uh, are you working at extending your portfolio apart from wearable devices?
Yeah. So along with the variable devices, we are kind of working on placing health ATMs, our own health ATMs. Idea is basically to revive this old thought. If you remember, when we were kids, we used to go to railway station,
Yeah.
and there was a weighing machine. You put a coin, and then it will print out your weight and all those. At that time, actually, at least we were kind of looking at our weight whenever we used to travel. Now everything has gone. Everything is gone, and so I think it's a good idea to actually now make it like that, and then include again the tech that we have developed. So that thing can be placed in the railway station, airports, corporates also, schools, even gym, right? And it will do about, I mean, 18 to 20 tests. For example, your visceral fat, your BMI,
Hmm.
your muscle mass, and then, of course, your ECG and blood pressure, blood sugar, and with temperature. So we are kind of we have a package of about 18 different parameters that can be done in just about 30 seconds. Just put a coin. So now the coin is gone. It's more of a UPI, but we'll try and make it in a retro kind of ATM. That's what we are working on. Probably we'll launch it in I think around Christmas or even before that.
Yeah, that's sounds very interesting, and something that I would also try on the next time I'm at a railway station or an airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Rahul. It's been great interacting with you and knowing more about your journey. I think I believe that Agatsa has a long way to go, and wish you all the best. Once again, thanks a lot for giving us time and sharing your valuable thoughts and insights.
It was actually wonderful to connect with you, Shivan, and doing great work. Congratulations for that. And hope to catch up again sometimes.
Sure, sure. Thanks a lot, Rahul.